Hey everybody, so I have a 2011 Yamaha gas golf cart. I believe it's the drive model. Wanted to do a quick video. I was playing golf the other day and it just quit working. I parked it, let somebody hit the gas pedal and nothing. But I finally figured it out. I tried to find something on YouTube to help me solve the problem. I couldn't find anything, so hopefully this will help somebody else that's maybe not as mechanically inclined like I am. I'm smart enough to do some things, but I usually take it in and let somebody else mess around with it. So, but hopefully this helps somebody out. If you are super mechanically inclined, you could probably pass over this video. It's not going to be super technical. Just me kind of fumbling through, and hopefully it helps somebody else. So, first thing, really the only thing you're going to need besides some sockets and wrenches, a voltmeter. That's pretty important because we're trying to find why your golf cart isn't running, and this is gonna help us do that. So I figured out what the problem is. So for this little demonstration, I've got the gas pedal basically down. So it's right now the golf cart's calling for power, so it'll fire. It's on. It's calling for So it was tough to do with. While you're doing this, I wouldn't do that. I would just, kind of poke and play as you go so you can figure it out. Because what you don't want is for some reason it just to kick on and take off. But I know exactly what the problem is now, so it shouldn't do that. So first thing I did, take my voltmeter here, and I thought maybe with the new light bar setup, it caused my battery to go dead. Okay, so first thing I did is check voltage on that. Plenty of juice, so it hardly drew any at all. Which I kind of suspected because like I said, I had played 8.5 holes, so it should have been fully charged. So from there, someone told me that, hey, it's probably your solenoid. All right, I'm not totally sure what a solenoid does. I know power goes in, you push the on switch or power pedal, power comes out the other side to engage the starter, in a nutshell. So follow these cords here. On this 2011, it's actually right here. I didn't know where it was, so I ended up taking off the entire back end of my cart. It's not a big deal. It's just going to take an extra 20 minutes to piece it back together. So you don't need to take the basket off to get at it. It is easier to do, but there's a lot more bolts, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to take apart. So you don't have to. All you need to do is take off that little panel. It's just two of these little plastic nut things, and you're in. So following your power wires here, this is your solenoid. So this wire here is a direct line from the battery. So we know the battery's got juice. So if I hook up my battery reader, it should give me voltage. So I'll go ahead and do that quick. So for this demo, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I've only got one set of hand. I'm just going to use an alligator clip to latch on to the terminal there. And I'm just going to come over here to the negative, tee this up. And there's power going into the solenoid. Okay? So that's good. Now we're going to check the other side, the outside, or not the outside, excuse me, but where the power comes out. So from my understanding of the way a solenoid works, and if somebody wants to comment in the below and maybe give a better description of what it does, but power comes in this side, you engage the gas pedal, it's basically a switch which calls for power to go to the starter. So with the gas pedal down, it's calling for power. As soon as I put it on here, it should be going in this side and coming out this side. So I've got it on that. We've got juice there. So that means there's power coming out of the solenoid, which means it's going to the starter. And then there's a positive terminal up here. Again, that's kicking out juice, so that's functioning properly. This is a negative terminal, so there's no juice coming out of that. That's a ground, okay? So that brings us down to the starter. The starter has two power terminals, one here, and from the passenger side of the golf cart, if you flip the seat up, and I'll go over there in a second, you can see it from there as well. So first thing I'm going to check is this terminal here. So I'm going to come under here, check it. So we have power going into the starter there, and I'm going to go around to the other side of the cart real quick. All right, so from the passenger side of the golf cart, if you're looking over your air filter, there's two terminals. This is the ground terminal. This was actually what my problem was. I didn't have a good connection. And then the other positive terminal, So your positive terminal is here, so that's hooked up. That's indicated by a red wire. This was the negative terminal. So I'm going to check this terminal here. Again, I already know what my problem is. So this is reading positive. Whoops. Reading voltage. Now, my ground wire is not hooked up because I figured out that's what my problem was. I had a bad connection, and as soon as I hook that up to the ground terminal, it takes off. So if you get to this point, this is as far as my video is going to go basically. If you get to this point and you have power going into your starter, you either have a bad starter or you have bad connections. Earlier this spring, when I first took my cart out, this negative terminal had actually disconnected from the eyelet, and I just kind of MacGyvered it back together. But I thought I had it really good and connected, and once I cut the eyelet off and just just touch the ground wire to the terminal, the golf cart takes off. So that was my problem, is I had a poor connection. So hopefully that helps you troubleshoot through. Check your battery, check your solenoid. Check power into the solenoid, check power out of the solenoid. Make sure that none of your wires have a splice or a cut in them and there's power reaching the starter. And then if there is power reaching your starter, check your connections here. I mean, on these eyelets is where you should have your power going in. So check your connections there, make sure they're clean. If everything else fails and you're still not engaging, it could be your starter. Could be your throttle cable too, I guess, if you don't hear any clicking. But from an electrical standpoint, that's the trouble I found, or the problems I found. So hopefully this helps somebody with their golf cart. I know it would have saved me some time. In hindsight, I should have started with the ground wire, I guess. But hopefully somebody finds this helpful. Thanks.